What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
You don't know what that order is, Mr. Trash. I'd show you, but I'm too old. I'm too tired. I'm too fucking blind. If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
We've said it once, we've said it before, we've said it a million times. The truth is always free. This is Tim Scott off my lawn. The mad ramblings of a Gen Xer. We want to talk about No King's Day. Thank God they had it, because I checked, and there's still no kings. We also want to get into a little bit Gen X Halloween legends, which kind of are actually true. Interesting. I know that's interesting to say the least. But let's talk about No Kings. It was such a day of protest. It was such a day of community and togetherness, where nearly 7 million people worldwide is the estimate that came together to support No Kings. First of all, 7 million people worldwide, that's not a lot. How many people are in the world? And 7 million people worldwide came together. I love the left. And I love the idiocy of the left. I love their thought process. We don't want any kings. We're having no kings whatsoever. Well, good, because we don't have kings. There's a fundamental problem with your no king process. Because we don't have any. We don't have a king. We haven't had a king here since we got rid of King George. But these morons are out protesting. But and the worst part is we got so much video of it. What the fuck are they actually protesting? And listening to them tell you what they're protesting is even crazier than the fact that they're protesting no kings, because none of these idiots have any clue or idea what the fudge they're talking about.
What has President Trump done to make him a monarch?
He started to take control and do illegal things and that are not within his power. So that's pretty much what makes a person a monarch. They take complete control even though they shouldn't have it.
What illegal things has he done?
Come here. What illegal things? Everything that he has done except for get elected. Every single thing since he's gotten into office.
So deporting illegal immigrants?
So I had to stop the clip for a minute. So he's a king. He's the monarch. But he got elected.
Is that illegal?
Deporting illegal immigrants, if they're here peacefully, yes.
If they're illegally here, though, if they came illegally?
If they came here illegally, I believe we're a country that stands for Lady Liberty. It said, give me your tired, your, give me everybody.
I love it. I'm from Lady Liberty, and they say these things like, give me your tired, and like other stuff. So I'm gonna go with that.
Can possibly bring into the United States, and it doesn't say ship them back out. It says welcome.
Awesome. Any other issues, any issues in particular that you really disagree with Trump on?
No, because you're just baiting me. Have a nice day.
I love it because these people always, you're just baiting me. No, we're asking questions that you have a philosophical difference against, but you can't answer the questions because if you did, you would make yourself even look more stupid. Now, like I said, I gotta play a bunch of these clips because I love this guy. This guy. This is another guy. This is a guy in Florida from one of these No Kings protests. Oh, you have to listen to this liberal logic.
Voter ID is racist, yeah? Like, should you need an ID to vote?
No, I don't think so, no.
Is it racist that CVS asks you for an ID to buy Sudafed?
Well, I think that there are certain people that should not be allowed to buy Sudafed, so I think it's a good idea.
So it's more important that you use an ID to buy Sudafed, but not to vote for the person that runs this country?
I'm not exactly sure.
I love it. I'm not exactly sure about that because this guy is dressed up as a playing card and he's a king, but he's not exactly sure what we should do with that because you're making logical sense. These are people that have these, and I love it. These are all, majority of these people are white baby boomers that have nothing else to do besides protest a person that's actually trying to protect their Social Security, trying to protect their Medicaid, trying to protect their Medicare, trying to keep it solvent. But that's okay. But here is a younger protester at the Philadelphia protest.
What brings you out here?
Rising fascism, lack of health care, billions being poured into ICE without any accountability. 175 U.S. citizens have been arrested so far.
Wait. A whole 175 U.S. citizens have been arrested. That's fucking, that number's huge.
For you, there's much more.
Can I ask you one more question? What is fascism?
Well, if you look historically, when a government no longer follows the will of the people, that is a large part of fascism. I would direct you to some of the...
Don't follow the will of the people, but he was elected and won the popular vote, Trump did.
Really good literature on the topic.
Can you define it? Trump won the popular vote.
I mean, yeah, and I love it because it's like, and then I love it because everyone's response is, I'm just going to walk away because you're trying to bait me. No, we're trying to have a conversation with you, but you are so fucking stupid. You have no clue what you're talking about. Now, I love this guy. This is a guy. We're going to play this whole 1 minute clip. This is another protester over in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, of course, is the hotbed of intellect. There's a glow coming from Philadelphia, and it's not coming from the zombies in Kensington. It's coming from these liberal intellects that they just blow your mind with their logic.
What is the main reason you're out here today, would you say?
I feel like the current Trump administration that we are paying taxes for, that our taxes are not going in the direction that our taxes should be used for, such as health care, home care for elderly people, other such things as like helpful ideas that should be used. Our taxpayer dollars should not be used for creating wars. Or
now, Trump, what about the wars that Trump has stopped?
Which one was that?
Well, he stopped the war in Palestine, right?
No, he did not. That has been going on for millions of years and multiple entities have been involved. It's just the last thing you can.
Of course, these wars have been going on for millions of years. Luckily, it wasn't 1 billion years.
Can't just come in. What's it called? Cherry picking? It's called in a U.S. game when you steal the goal, but the whole...
Now, wait a minute. It's called in a U.S. game. I thought you were a U.S. citizen. That you were upset. You are a U.S. citizen. So in a U.S. game, why were you referring to a game in U.S. almost in the third person? Oh, because you're protesting. You have no clue what you're protesting about, and you're not a U.S. citizen.
Team made it, but you just grabbed it and shoved it in the thing. Trump did not at all make any peace deals with anyone. All Trump has done is make money for himself, his family, and his grift.
Now, I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty bad.
It sounds pretty bad, but again, there's no explanation. I have to walk away from you because of the fact that you're going to ask me a question to make sense. And we can't have that. We have another protester that we have to get. We have another new King's protest. I love that. Like I said, I woke up again now. Woke up early at 6 o'clock this morning. It is now 7:43 a.m. And there's still no Kings. Mission accomplished.
How is Trump unprepared to handle the problems that the country has? And do you think like Joe Biden or somebody else was more prepared? Or?
Well, in Joe Biden's specific case, I will say that he has 40 years of history serving his country, most of which...
He's got 40 years of history ripping off his fucking country, which we have detailed information about how he profited from being vice president and profited, and his family profited. Listen, when you set up 11 LLCs under a family to move money around and there is no functioning product or there's no service rendered and the LLC is just to move money, it's called money laundering.
were involved in diplomatic relations and foreign policy.
Did he allow 10.8 million illegal immigrants into the country, though?
I don't know. That may be true. That may not be true. But he.
But again, I am part of the liberal left. I don't need logic. I don't need to have information. I don't need to have any of this logic or information validated. I just need passion.
Is certainly not the first nor the last president to, you're saying, allow that to happen. Is, even if that were true.
No, he was the first president to allow it to happen.
Is that enough to make 50 Republican senators bow down in front of someone who wants to simply gather up power to do more ill? It doesn't make sense. If that was the biggest problem we had in this country, we'd be in good shape. I don't think that's the biggest problem. I don't even think that's in the top 10.
Are you crazy or just plain stupid?
Stupid as stupid does, Ms. Blue.
Oh, and again, the majority of these people are baby boomers. Evidently, they are baby boomers. They're empty nesters. They have no fucking clue what to do with their lives. So we're just going to go out and protest fascism. We can't define fascism. We can't define anything that we're talking about. But you know what? We're against it.
Why are you supporting people who are taking away voting rights, who are gerrymandering? Charlie Kirk wanted that, right?
Taking away people's voting rights? Like Charlie Kirk, all he did was sign people up to vote. He gave so many young people a right to vote.
Young white people, that's right.
Say what?
Young white people, right?
What are you talking about? It's not true at all. Him and Candace Owens were very tight. I don't think at the end they were.
I'm going to give you a hint. Candace Owens is black. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not sure she knows this. I'm just throwing this out there.
But I'm like, Candace was one of his closest friends. What are you talking about? Like, they were trying to get young black men and women signed up to vote. That's just not true.
Don't think so.
So you're just unaware?
I don't think so. Because I have no proof. I have no logic. But I don't think that's true.
Like, do you know who Candace Owens is?
Yes.
They have Blexit. That's part of TPUSA. Blexit is all about having young black people part of the conservative movement. So that totally defeats what you just said. No?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Oh, Maximus Decimus Meridius. I know that I'm entertained. I could play these all day long. But I want to just do one more because I want to get into another topic that I had today that I want to talk about. That's, of course, is going to be Gen X Halloween legends that are actually true. And some of these I remember, and some of these you kind of freak out about. But here we go. We got one more time. I think this time we're in the No Kings protest in Florida.
We're out here at the No Kings protest, and we're asking all the important questions, such as if Trump was elected, how exactly is he a king?
Because he is trying to take control of everything. Like,
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
his checks and balances are not working, so he is just trying to.
Like the checks and balances aren't working. And when I went to the bank and I checked my balance, it was 0. So that wasn't working.
Really disregard the Constitution.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of amendments have been kind of overcome.
What is it, you period?
Like in a way that they're not supposed to be.
Wait, which amendment specifically?
The whole
first one.
Yeah, the first one.
It's like the First Amendment. Well, what's the First Amendment? It's like checks and balances.
Take away our
freedom of protesting.
I would say that it's because even though he was elected, I agree, due process, he got what he got elected fairly, sure, but he's doing things that make him a king. Like he's taking away, civil rights.
I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but 2 things right now. Jack and shit. Jack left town.
That's a great question. I don't particularly think he's a king. It's how.
Now, this is a woman that is wearing a Fuck Trump the King shirt, but she doesn't think he's a king.
People are viewing him as?
Actively switching the levers of power in order to subvert elections.
And what does that mean?
Things such as...
Now, this is a guy wearing stilts dressed as Donald Trump. So you know he's someone that we need to listen to.
Sorry. Trouble coming up with words.
I have trouble coming up with words because of the fact that I can't think of anything.
Remain calm. All is well.
These are the future leaders, some of these people, because some of these are young people. These are the future leaders and the future leaders of idiocy. It's amazing that they protest, they have this passion, but the problem is with their passion becomes the fact that they have zero logic. There's just something very wrong here. There's just something.
IQs just dropped sharply while I was away.
Ripley, I wasn't even away, and I think IQs dropped sharply. But I want to talk about one of those things that you'd never want to talk about. It's Halloween legends that Gen Xers had to grow up with. There are movies that are made out of these legends, but the problem is a lot of these legends are actually true. You heard stories, you heard whispers, you heard innuendos about these stories from the 70s through the early 90s. They were used to scare children to do certain things or not to do certain things. And you didn't want to go in the mirror and say Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. But these are things that are actually steeped in truth. First one I want to talk about is the poisoned Halloween candies. Always heard the legend of strangers will hand out poison candy or candies with razor blades in them. Oh, don't eat that Snickers bar because they might have a razor blade in it. Make sure your parents check all your candies. Well, that story, that legend is actually steeped in truth. In 1974, Ronald O'Brien from Texas, poisoned his own kid, his own 8-year-old, with pixie sticks that were laced with cyanide. And he did this to collect the insurance policy on his kid. He blamed, of course, the random neighbor. It was that random neighbor in House 476. The story spread nationwide, and for decades, it created this Halloween paranoia. Now, I will say there were probably other instances because there are crazy fucking people out there over the last 30 years. But this is the origin of this story of the poisoned Halloween candy. So while it is the urban legend, there again, it is steeped in Halloween truth. Ooh.
What I got to say you really don't want to hear because honesty ain't too high up on your people priority list, right?
Honesty? You want honesty?
Well, honestly, we're going to go with another great story. The babysitter. Oh, there's a man in the house. The phone rings. We saw the movie about it. The phone rings. You sit there and you hear, I'm in the house. Oh, and of course the babysitter freaks out all these creepy calls because they're in the house. They're in the house. How could that pop? Oh, what do we got? We got something going on here. We got music coming in, and I'm not even ready to call it quits yet. So you know what? We're gonna let that music play for a second because it's gonna go away real quick. But you have the babysitter in the house. You get that creepy phone call. Classic Halloween movie made about it. Well, the problem is with that classic story, it's actually true. It was inspired by a story in 1950 by the murder of Janet Christman. She was a 13-year-old babysitter in Columbia, Missouri. She was attacked while watching a couple children. The police found the phone off the hook. The case was never solved. And for years, it fueled generations' fears of the babysitter and somebody in the house. The phone rings and there's somebody in the house. And I love it because it's 1950. So it's not like you have multiple phone lines in the house. That's one of the things with this story that always confused and befuddled me. That you literally had. You would have to have 2 phone lines in the house to call from the house. Unless, of course, you're using a cell phone. But in 1950, they didn't have cell phones. There's also the story, that spooky story of corpses actually being used as Halloween decorations. Dead bodies mistaken for a Halloween prop. Oh, don't go over there. Now, you know what I do find is interesting in the early 90s, especially in cinema and movies when you made movies, a lot of times, especially in horror movies, the skeletons you see in horror movies, and I go back to the movie Return of the Night of the Living Dead, they are actual skeletons. it turned out, especially in the early 90s, it was cheaper to buy skeletons directly from India and use them in films instead of using these plaster recreations that were so expensive to make. So in some ways, right off the bat, the urban legend is true. But in 1976, on the set of The $6 Million Man, the crew discovered a funhouse dummy that they were using was actually the mummified body of Elmer McCready, an outlaw who died in 1911. How that happens, I don't even want to know. There's also stories and rumors, not stories, but there's actually stories and police reports of multiple people who died by suicide outdoors while hanging themselves during the Halloween season, which were mistaken as props. That's kind of fucked up. Don't go to that house because I have a feeling there might be some razor blades in that candy. I'm trying to think what else. One of my favorites. One of my favorites is the hitchhiking ghost. We have a story here in Pennsylvania about this road that has this ghost that wanders the road. She is a young woman or a young girl dressed in a gown, probably an evening frock from the 1800s. That can be seen on certain roads on certain nights leading up to Halloween. There's a legend that we see this ghost. Well, the legend actually is kind of steeped in a little bit of truth. It's a story, of course, of a young woman in white who hitches rides near a cemetery, then vanishes. The truth that this legend also has come out of is in I think it was the 1930s in Chicago, Resurrection Mary became one of the most documented ghost legends in America. And it has been since 1930. Dozens of drivers have reported nearly identical encounters along Archer Avenue near Resurrection Cemetery, with police and eyewitnesses consistently saying the same chilling aspects. So once again, we have another legend steeped in truth. I want to talk about, one of my favorite movies is The Crow with Brandon Lee, R.I.P. Brandon Lee. And in Brandon Lee, they had what they referred to as Devil's Night. And it was in the movie, it was a big thing that was, you have the night before Halloween is Mischief Night. Well, the night before Halloween in this movie was Devil's Night, where they burned everything to the ground. That was the whole thing of Devil's Night. We set everything on fire. Now, a lot of people laughed and a lot of people scoffed at this, but from 1970s through the early 90s, arson fires spiked every October 30th in Detroit. Sometimes hundreds in a single night, which was known as Devil's Night. So that frightening urban legend that us Gen Xers grew up with was actually true and documented. The last one I want to talk about is, of course, the curse or possession or possessed toys. A lot of times you have toys that, we've all seen Chucky. Chucky even got married. You got the bride of Chucky. But there's always been those legends and stories of dolls and toys that move or talk on their own, that they're possessed. But in the 1980s, there was a spooky story about a Teddy Ruxpin. Now, first of all, if you know Teddy Ruxpin is spooky enough as it fucking is. Teddy Ruxpin was this animatronic doll, of course, that you put a tape in and you play it and he talked to you. Well, there's a story that somehow this Teddy Ruxpin started to speak even after its batteries were removed. It was still speaking with no batteries. This is actually a proven legend. And I love it because of the fact that this freaked the family out so much. Of course, there was a Teddy Ruxpin investigation, and it turned out there was a circuit glitch that still maintains some type of power. This was verified by the makers of Teddy Ruxpin. And the glitch allowed Teddy Ruxpin to still continue to work even with the batteries removed. There was a recall of these dolls as well because of the fact there was a period of time where the Teddy Ruxpin voice changed. So again, it's about that evil possession of dolls, the changing voice. But this was a manufacturer malfunction, freaked kids out. But you know what? It was just, or was it, a myth and a mystery? Oh, we got another lot of big shows coming up this week, so make sure you stay tuned for it. And as always, don't forget to like, don't forget to follow the channel, give that 5-star review. And this is Tim. This is Get Off My Lawn, the Mad Ramblings of a Gen Xer. And I'm out of here.